Welcome to Quilt Easy's tutorial on digital multimeters. In this first section, we're going to describe different multimeters that can be purchased, varying types and designs and prices. First over here, we have the Fluke 115. Fluke is a more expensive digital multimeter, and they also work very well. Next over here, we have a cheap Harbor Freight digital multimeter, followed by a pocket version of a multimeter made by Radio Shack. Over here we have a couple of Chinese brand digital multimeters. They're both made by, it's actually Centec. So two different versions by Centec. A digital multimeter is a meter that contains multiple functions for measuring electrical currents. You can set it to measure AC voltage, DC voltage, DC or AC voltage in millivolts. You can check ohms. You can check continuity. You can check diodes or capacitors. And you can also check amperage in both AC amperage and DC amperage. These other meters are very similar to the functions that one performs, with the exception that a lot of them you have to set things yourself. This Centec is very similar to the Fluke over here. This particular unit also measures temperature, measures sound pressure, and has a sensor for light. So this one does a lot that the other ones don't. This one over here is a lower range model from this one here. On a lot of multimeters, what you'll see is you'll have multiple settings for amperage, for voltage, and for frequency and other stuff like that. This one actually requires you to set the range that you want to view. So for instance, if we wanted to view voltage on this unit over here and we had a low voltage of 20 volts or less, we would set it over to the 20 volt side, which basically what that means is you're going to get a main display of 2 digits. If you go to 200, you get a main display of 3 digits, and 1000 is a main display of 4 digits. In much of what you do with Quilt Easy products, if you're measuring DC voltage, you're going to be on the 20 side on this one. With Quilt Easy products, the main thing that you will be measuring though is continuity, to see if wires are going to the places that you think they are on the sewing machine, or if you are doing a non-integrated system and want to know if the handlebar cables are working correctly. On the Fluke system over here, if we want to measure continuity, we will set it over to the continuity setting. And what happens here is anytime there is continuity between the two probes, you'll get a sound. There you go. This can be used to check various things such as buttons, whether they are working or not, or just simple wires going from point A to point B. So on this particular unit, if we want to measure the continuity between two of these points when a button is pressed, so you see when we press the button, we now have a beep. We're measuring continuity. We can also measure the continuity simply between one end of the wire and the other. If we want to measure continuity between this end of the connector and this end of the connector over here, we can see that we have continuity between those two connectors.